Shiny Pink Drowzee is the only shiny Pokemon I have ever deleted from my Pokemon Go storage. It all started when I refused to get in a car with a middle-aged acquaintance I used to raid battles with. I refer to him as Mr. Family Man. It was 2017, Pokemon Go was not like how it is now. There was no remote raid pass or battling, not even trading. Pokemon Go was similar to how it was first released, with the addition of daily research tasks and raid bosses. At the time, I was attending an international private school in Thailand. There was over 20 Pokestops and 10 gyms inside the school. I think this was because people were playing Ingress before. I'm an introvert and prefer playing the game by myself, but I had to join a local group chat of other players if I were to have any chance against the raid bosses. Inside this group chat there were students and teachers, yes, but more than half the members were people from the outside. Their ages ranged between 30 to 60 years old. There were local business owners, taxi drivers, workers from a nearby airport and country club. Mr. Family Man, the man at the centre of the story, was dispatched for a shuttle service of a nearby hotel. At the time, what everybody wanted was a Mewtwo. Mewtwo was an X-raid boss, meaning we knew exactly when and where he would show up. A Pokemon that is more valuable than Mewtwo, however, was a Pokemon that is Mewtwo's weakness. That Pokemon was Tyranitar. Its base form Larvitar was so rare, I've only saw it twice before Community Day. The only way to get your hands on a Tyranitar was when it showed up as a 3-star raid boss. When Tyranitar appeared, the chat lit up, and all the members went insane. One time, a Tyranitar raid appeared in the area outside the school with no sidewalks, like it was just a gate in the middle of a field. It was also night time. Pokemon Go did not have raid battles at night, but I think that was the last raid of the day, so Mr. Family Man said he will pick me and my friends up at the dorm with his truck so we can raid Tyranitar together. However, my friends bailed at the last minute. When I found out it was only going to be me getting into Mr. Family Man's truck, I had a second thought. I didn't know what came over me. I'm a guy, but a small stature and some might call soft. And I'm sure Mr. Family Man was not going to do anything to me, but when his truck rolled up, it hit me. This man was a complete stranger. He did not work for the school. It was night time. I was about to enter his truck, alone, to go off in a very secluded area, in the middle of a field. It would just be me and him. Maybe I was paranoid, but it didn't feel right. So I told him I was not going to go with him. Then, he did something that I thought was pretty weird. He took out his smartphone, and it showed an animated gif of a pink, shiny Drowzee. Shiny Drowzee was not released on Pokemon Go yet at the time, but he just showed the gift he probably downloaded from the internet. He said Drowzee wanted me to get into the car with him. I was speechless. I was so creeped out my heart sank. I politely bowed and backed away. Then, Mr. Family Man snapped. He talked about how people don't take the game seriously, and that I wasted his time before sped off. I didn't know what just happened. I was shocked. There were over 300 people in our group, and Mr. Family Man liked to think of himself as the leader. Even though there were 2 other people who acted more like a leader, Mr. Family Man was the loudest. He always made loud jokes and announcements while we wait for the raid to start. They were obnoxious, but nothing offensive. After the cancelled Tyranitar raid, Mr. Family Man still talked to me normally, but I could feel that he was not happy with me, and just put up a front. We all needed each other to raid the bosses. I also feel that he was jealous of the other pack leaders of the group. Another man, let's call him Husband Man, had his wife bring us roasted chickens and curry to give us when Pokemon Go had an event called Community Day. I think Mr. Family Man was jealous of this. He started bringing his own wife and children to the raid more and more. They usually just stayed in the car though. He started to tell the story of his family more and more, while we were just waiting for the raid to start. It was like he was running a political campaign. Things came to a head when Mr. Family Man detailed in the group that one of his family members was sick, and that he would not be playing a lot of Pokemon Go due to this. With that knowledge, the other leaders of the group did not type into the group chat when Tyranitar raid showed up near the school. We told each other about the raid outside the main group chat, and just went to get it together. Well, when Mr. Family Man found out he missed the Tyranitar raid, he was beyond furious. I was not there for the blowout, but the people who witnessed it thought it was a bad scene. He ranted in the group chat, which I missed. He unsent all the messages later. A few nights later, Mr. Family Man contacted me privately. He said that there was a Pokemon I always wanted. Lapras, that spawned outside the hotel where he worked. It appeared every night at around 11 PM, but he said because I was a scaredy cat and wouldn't get into his car alone, I would never get this Pokemon. I sent a laughing emoji thinking this was a joke. He then sent a gif of his shiny Drowzee again. Come out, come out. I was disturbed by this. I sent a laugh emoji, but I was not laughing. Then I suddenly realized. I was standing outside my dorm. It was 11 PM. Why was I outside? As I was chatting with him, my leg moved on its own. That freaked me out, but before I blamed this on something supernatural, I do this a lot. My body just moved on its own when I was in the phone or chatting with someone, but that was the only time I walked that far. I didn't even remember getting into the elevator. Then, Mr. Family Man, Mr. Mewtwo raid. This never happened before. Someone who worked at the same hotel as Mr. Family Man said they had a big argument with his wife regarding the health crisis their family faced. It got so bad that they might divorce. Mr. Family Man showed up once in a while after that. He usually stayed in his car and did not join the others like before, because he said that the GPS messed him up and he needed to be in his car to join the raid. He only walked out of his car to show that he got a shiny Kyogre one time. He was beaming and just wanted to show it off to everyone. And then one day, he didn't show up anymore. The hotel where he worked survived on tourists that came from the airport, but when a big hotel right next to the airport finished construction, the customer decreased almost 80%. After a few months, the hotel was closed down for good. I haven't seen Mr. Family Man for a long time. That was until Shiny Drowzee was released on Pokemon Go in October 2018. It was around 1 AM, and I noticed the gym next to my dorm was under attack. I found it amusing. I wanted to see who was taking over my gym. That person put a shiny Drowzee to guard the gym. The trainer's screen name was Mr. Family Man is dead. I was so disturbed by this I almost dropped my phone. I capped the screen, but I didn't want to send it to the group chat because Mr. Family Man was still in it. I contacted the other group members, but there was no response. It was already 1 AM. The middle-aged people sleep early, or because they have jobs. After being apprehensive for a while, I decided just to send a screen cap to the group. I even at Mr. Family Man himself and asked, "Was this you?" There was no response from anyone. Even the next day, Mr. Family Man is dead kept destroying the gym and replaced my Pokemon with a shiny Drowzee. One night, I felt like I had it. I just battled his shiny Drowzee to retake my gym. It felt kinda good to send my Pokemon to beat it up, not gonna lie. And then, the OG Mr. Family Man sent me a private chat message. It showed Lapras spawning where his hotel used to be. That night, it was a full moon, which always excited me for some weird reason, and I felt adventurous. Or, you may say stupid. I asked my friend, who has a car, to go with me to that area, and let's get that Lapras. My friend was as dumb as me, and he agreed. I responded to Mr. Family Man's message by typing, "Thank you, I'm coming to it," in the chat. He responded with the gift of a shiny Drowzee, then typed, "It worked. You were coming out. Come out. Come out." The exciting energy that I had disappeared. I was so creeped out, but my friend already walked downstairs with car keys in hand. I didn't want to cancel it. As I got into my friend's car, I decided to tell some of the people in the group chat where I was going. I don't know why I did this. It made no sense, like, I'm going to Mr. Family's old hotel to get Lapras, see ya. But I did anyway. Then, to my surprise, Husbandman called me. It was very weird to receive a phone call from someone from the Pokemon Go group. I picked up the phone. He said Mr. Family Man unalived himself a few months ago, inside the hotel where he worked. Husbandman said he didn't want to tell anyone in the group chat, because he didn't think anyone there liked Mr. Family Man that much. He thought Mr. Family Dead was a prankster who knew I'd be freaked out. No way it was the real him. I started freaking out. I hanged up without telling Husbandman that Mr. Family Man privately messaged me. I stared at the chat and I told my friend to not drive there anymore. I don't care how upset he was going to be. I was so horrified I left the group chat and deleted the Pokemon Go app. A few years later, I think it was during the pandemic, I re-downloaded Pokemon Go again. Who can resist Magikarp Community Day, right? Well, one time I saw a Pokemon I wanted spawned among several other Pokemon. I was trying to get that Pokemon. I don't even remember what it was, but my friend got hit Drowzee instead. That Drowzee was a shiny. I deleted it immediately. The Pokemon Go app was not having it. It kept asking me if it was sure. I think I might have been the only person in the history of the game that intentionally deleted the shiny, but you understand why, right?